The next part of the session we are going to start after the vacation, and remember in 12th standard we started the lesson of reproduction in organism. Now I think we should just recollect some of those, like say example what we are doing. We are explaining about the asexual mode of reproduction, like say for example fragmentation. So in fragmentation you have seen that it occurs in some lower organisms like hydra, or even in some echinoderms like starfishes, in some vertebrates like lizards, reptiles, like any part of the body that is cut off, that regenerates or regrows into a new organism. Now in lower organism, like say for example amoeba, even a small fragment, fragmentation, it can regenerate. Regeneration is found in many organisms. It can give rise to a totally new organism. Now in fragmentation, of course, that occurs even in the protozoa also. Now we are going to start with the spore formation. Spores are a type of asexual mode of reproduction which is found in many organisms, like in, say for example, in the formation of spores. There are two types of spores. One is called a zoospore, another is called aplanospore. Zoospores are usually motile and they are flagellated, and aplanospores are non-flagellated spores. Now these spores are found inside the body. Usually what happens, the nucleus divides mitotically, and then they are encircled with the protoplasm into 4 to 8 cells, and then they form a cyst wall type, and the wall mostly occurs during unfavorable season. And when favorable season comes, the cyst wall break open, and all these spores, they come out and they generate into new organism. So generally it is a type of tiding over unfavorable condition. Now in these spores, we know there is a type of spore called sporangiospores. It is a vegetative method of reproduction in lower fungi. So sporangiophore is actually the encasement of the spore. Sometimes these spores are inside a chamber which we call the sporangiophore, or sporangium, spore sac we call it. And sometimes they are naked. And if they are naked, we call them the conidiospore or idiospore, which we find generally in Penicillium. Aspergillus we find the conidiospores. Now this sporangiospores, as I told you, they contain the spores which are zoospore, motile spores with without a cell wall. So they don't have a cell wall, but they are motile. Aplanospore, non-motile, without a cell wall. So this is a motile spore, this is a non-motile spore. Now conidiospore, it is found in Penicillium or Aspergillus. The conidiospores are externally located. This is the difference between that, like for example in fungi, or you will find that the spores occur inside the spore cell. Like for example in the mushrooms, you will see in case of lower organisms also, like say for example rhizopore or rhizopus, or in case of mucor, you will see they are encased in a sporangium or spore sac. But in idiospores or conidiospores, they are externally located on the sporangiophore, or what we call the columella, and they are naked. That means the spores are without the cover. Now let us now know about some of the difference between a binary fission and multiple fission. In binary fission, usually the cell divides into two. In binary fission, in multiple fission, the nucleus divides several times and they form number of nucleus, and then the nucleus is encircled by the protoplasm and the new cell wall, and then they are encased within a cyst wall, and the cyst wall breaks. So what are the difference? Like for example, in binary fission, this occurs mostly in the favorable condition. That means if the conditions are favorable, like in amoeba, if they get the food, if they get the nice temperature and all, binary fission occurs. In multiple fission, of course, that occurs during favorable and unfavorable condition. So that is usually, sometimes suppose if there is an encystment, the temperature is not correct, pH is not correct. If a particular organism is under, say, a chemical which is not very conducive to it, then they form a cyst wall, and inside that the nucleus divides into several forms, and then the protoplasm is formed, new cell wall is formed, and this cyst wall breaks and they develop into new spores or new cells. So, and another difference is parent body divides into two. There is only two division, whereas in multiple fission nucleus divides into many parts. That is, multiple, you understand the meaning. Binary means two, multiple means number of. Now there are two daughter cells and there are many daughter cells. Now this is the basic division between the binary fission and multiple fission. Like say for example, you can give the example of amoeba where the binary fission occurs. Even in Paramecium binary fission occurs, and in case of say Planaria binary fission occurs. That can be of two types. One is called a transverse fission, another is called longitudinal fission. Transverse fission you find in Planaria, and binary you can find transverse fission in case of also say Paramecium. Longitudinal fissions are generally found in Euglena. You will see that in Euglena they divides along the flagella which is withdrawn, and then the flush-shaped mouth, or from there it divides vertically. So that's a longitudinal fission. Now we are going to study about something about the vegetative reproduction. Now vegetative reproduction in plant, there are different types, like some are natural. Okay, like say for example, in vegetative reproduction usually the reproduction takes place from any other part of the plant except the reproductive organ, that is the flower. So we see that some vegetative reproduction is very natural, and what are those? That means they occur in the nature where no manipulation is done, no human interference is done. So they are generally can be underground, they can be subaerial or subterranean. So different types are there, and even there are some are there which are total on above the ground, even aerial also. Now in underground reproduction, we know that there are rhizomes, there are bulbs, there are corms, and there are tubers. Usually in rhizome you find these are stems which are condensed, which grow prostrate on the ground, horizontal. They have distinct nodes and internodes, and there from this internodes the axillary bud comes out and the terminal body also comes out, and they tide over the unfavorable season. It's like you find in Gingiber officinalis ginger, or in Curcuma longa, what do you call it, turmeric, this type of rhizome are there. In case of what do you call this, corm, the stem will be vertical, like in Colocasia, in crocus, what we call kesar. So they will be vertical, there will be terminal bud, and there will be distinct nodes and internodes, and there will be budding. These buds develop into individual crops. In tuber you find in case of potato, where a portion of the stem will go underground, the tip of the stem will enlarge and swell and store the food, and the stems have the lenticels on the surface, they have the eyes in the axillary bud which develops into new plant. Now there are sub-areas, these are all, like for example, bulb is onion, like for example lilies and onion, they are the scale leaves modified into a swollen structure, that is condensed stem. They are also terminal, and they tide over the unfavorable. Mostly you will find these plants are biennial plants. Now biennial plants are those which take 2 years of the reproductive cycle to be completed. 1 year they will do it vegetatively, the second year they will do it sexually. So they tide over unfavorable condition with this different types of vegetative propagation in one of the season. The next season they will do it sexually by producing flower, producing they going for fertilization and producing the seed. So 1 year you will see in onion, they grow, the bulb grows, and then it is used as a condiment or vegetable or spices. Next year if you plant the same onion, that will produce the leaf, the flower, and that will reproduce sexually to produce the onion seeds. Now in the subaerial modification you have runners, colons, sucker and offset. Subaerial means they will be just on the ground or just below the ground. Like say for example runner, you find in Dubgrass or Cynodon. In Dubgrass you will see the stem grows on the ground, and they wherever they meet the ground, they will, at the node they will produce the adventitious roots and the leaves will be growing there. And if they are detached from the parent plant, they go into new individual. Stolons you will find in, they are short stem, usually this type of, you will find above the ground, like say for example, stolon you will find in case of, I think the strawberry. Suckers, like in mint you will find them. In chrysanthemum, there will be a short portion of the stem which will grow under the ground and come out again, and where they come out again produce roots. So if they cut up from the main plant, they will grow into a new plant. You find them in chrysanthemum, the flower chrysanthemum, you find this type of thing, or mint also, mint or pudina what we call, there also you find this. And offset, this is found in Igornia species, which is called the Bengal terror. They are a little bit succulent, the stem will be short. It is just like the stolon, but there will be short stem, and if they are detached from the short stem into two individual plant, that will grow. You can see Igornia or water hyacinth, what we see, once it falls on the ground, you will see it grows enormously and covers the whole pond. This is by breaking off these offsets from the parent. Now, vegetative propagation can also take place through roots. Like for example, in Lebec or Dalbergia sisu, the portion of the root also grows into a new plant. Even in some plants like dahlia or say arrowroots, or you can say different types of other roots which can develop into, they store food and they propagate vegetatively. In the next year they grow into a new plant. Vegetative propagation also takes part through the leaf. Like for example in Kalanchoe and Bryophyllum, the matured leaf on the border, you will see the small microscopic plant grows into leaves and roots, and when the matured leaf falls, those individual small plants which are growing along the margin of the parent flower, that goes into individual. Vegetative propagation through bulbils. Now this is important. Bulbil is a special reproductive structure which are generally found on the leaf or in any of the stem. In some cases, of course, in the base of the flowers, like in Oxalis, you have the root bulbil, and the root outgrowth is there, and that outgrowth, when it falls, it grows into another plant. Or agave, the bulbils are found on the leaf. They are small swollen structures, and when they fall on the ground, they give rise to new plant. So these are basically all the methods which you have studied today, and this much we'll have in the about asexual reproductions and all the vegetative propagation, and in the next class we are going to know more about sexual reproduction. And thank you for this hearing, and if you have any question, you can put up the question. We are going to discuss it online, and be safe, and thank you for the hearing.